Samson? Beautiful.
Hi there guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my YummyJobs CEP pre-screen interview and my experience and any tips I have for you guys. So I was invited to my interview around late August for the 28th of September. We were asked to arrive around 9:45 and I'm going to hazard a guess that there must have been like 60 other applicants at that time. So when I arrived in Epping, which is where the HQ of YummyJobs is and where you'll be asked to attend your pre-screen interview, I headed straight to Starbucks, which is where everyone on the group chat had originally planned to meet, and I accidentally walked into the coaster and got myself a chai latte before realising it was a bit empty in there and everyone was in Starbucks next door, so I quickly hopped over and the Starbucks people didn't mind that much. So promptly at 9:45 the YummyJobs offices opened their doors and everyone decided to go upstairs into the YummyJobs office. I was one of the last people to go into the office as I was downstairs chit-chatting with some of my friends that had walked me all the way to Epping and back, and I was talking to some people that I'd met on the day. Now finding the HQ can be a little bit confusing, but you want to look in between a charity shop and in between an art shop. I do believe last year it was like a bank where the charity shop is now, but this year it was a charity shop. So as I mentioned, I was one of the last people to enter, and as I entered I had to sign myself in on a little piece of paper, and then Luke or Natalie or one of the other YummyJobs employees will give you a little name tag type deal, but instead of having your name on, it will have a team on there. So I was Team Mickey, you know, the mouse that started it all, and it will give you an interview time. So mine was from 11:15 to 12:15. Once everyone was sat down and comfortably seated, YummyJobs started the presentation. Now this presentation usually stays the same every single year unless they've got anything specific to this year. So they told us about the roles that you can apply for, they told you about the hours that you'd be working, they showed you a lot of videos from past applicants, especially with living in the different accommodation block, and they also had a pop quiz, which again last year they had. Some of the questions this year were very different, like they asked questions that I had no clue what the answers were to, but it's all in the name of fun, so what can you do? After the presentation they asked everyone to leave and then come back at their allotted time. So because mine was the first interview, I went outside, found the rest of Team Mickey, we all had a nice little chat and then went back inside. So there was about 7 of us in Team Mickey. There was 2 alumni and quite a few second and third years. When we got back inside we sat down and we found out that our lovely interviewer was going to be the lovely Natalie, who had only been working there for a couple of months I think, because I can't remember her last year, and I went onto her Instagram and she did like a special 1-month post with the Disney wall, which you'll see my photos on Instagram I'm sure with the Disney wall. So we began by saying our top 2 role choices, and I said operations and attractions and custodials. I said operations and attractions because I used to work in operations at my last job, and I said custodials because it's a cleaning job and they're always looking for cleaners and it's a very underrated job, so I'd be more likely to get a job there. So then we did an activity where we'd have to turn to the person next to us. I had the lovely Abby who I got to speak to, and we had to basically reflect back to the group their name, where they've come from, their university, what course they're studying, and a fun fact. The fun fact I said is that I've been to 3 countries over summer, and one of which was Ireland, where I volunteered as a Minecraft volunteer person at a convention. Specific questions we were asked about the programme were: why do we want to do the programme? What issues will we personally have? How would you deal with a messy flatmate? And how will you deal with the long hours? Now I'm going to do a blog post all about how to answer those questions specifically, so I'll leave my blog down in the description so you can go check that out. They also gave us scenarios, so I'm pretty sure all of you have had the lifeguard one before, the Tower of Terror one. They give you scenarios where something's gone wrong or someone needs help, and how would you sort it out? And because they're specific scenarios, you can't sometimes, it's not as easy as saying, oh I'm so sorry, so you have to basically explain that and how you'd keep the Disney atmosphere going. But like I said, I'll do an entire blog post all about this, so don't you worry your little hearts, I will link it down below once I've got it sorted. Now every year they seem to ask a funny question. So last year they asked what character you most like, and this year they asked if you could take any Disney character out to lunch, who would it be? And everyone in my group was thinking really like heartwarming, like good answers that were like really like metaphorical and symbolism. They were like Belle because she's a feminist and she likes books, or like something sweet like that. And when it comes to my turn, I'm in my head thinking go for something a bit quirky, so I say Ariel because I like sushi. and the entire group just laughs and they're like, seriously, she's a fish? And I'm like, well, I always wanted to be a mermaid as well, so I kind of saved that a little. So we were told that we were going to hear back by the 11th of October, which was a Wednesday, and everyone was very much like, oh, I reckon we're going to hear back sooner, but I was pretty sure we were going to hear back by the 11th. So when we heard back on the 9th, I was a little bit in shock. So at the time I got the email, I was actually at the gym with my friend Lucy, who did the program in 2017, and she was basically just telling me about the program. We were talking about like the nitty gritty, like it's work after all, but you're in the most magical place of all, like on earth. So we were talking about like the nitty gritty, like it is a job aspect. And her friend messages her and she's like, did your friend get the email? So automatically I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to check the chat. So I checked the chat and it's exploded. There's, I've been rejected, the website crashed, I haven't got the email, I got the email, I've got an offer, and I'm like, this is it. So we go outside, I type in my password, I keep getting it wrong, so I'm very frustrated at this point. I type it in, I have the email, I look at my friend Lucy, I open it, and the first thing I just look for the congratulations. And I see it in bold red font, and I broke down a little bit. I curled up into a ball right in front of the gym and started crying. In front of everyone. I'm trying to hold back the tears right now just thinking about it, because like the amount of emotions that came through when I realised I'd got through was incredible, and I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. Like I can't express it more. Last year, after getting rejected after the pre-screen, to be pushed further and have the opportunity to go to the final interview is incredible, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So yeah, guys, I'm through to the final interviews. So the final interviews take place in Hammersmith, and I'm going to be doing another whole video all about that when it happens, so I can tell you all a bit more about it. At the moment I'm just going through all the documents I have to fill in. In fact, I'm about to go and, you know, fill in this lovely one. But my interview's going to be taking place on Halloween, which is super spooky, and I'm so grateful that I'm just... So before I go on and talk about the final interview a bit too much, I just wanted to talk about what I wore to my pre-screen, as I feel like that's going to be a thing that a lot of people ask questions about. Here is a photo of what I wore to my pre-screen interview. So I wore this gorgeous brown trouser pant set that I got from Primark last year, and I wore them to my last interview. The only issue I have with these is that the zip at the back jams a lot. So I remember last year going into the toilet and having a panic attack because I couldn't get the zip down and then I couldn't get the zip back up, and as you can imagine, I panicked a lot. So that's my only issue with the jeans, the trousers, but I really like them. I think they're very Disney-esque. They remind me of the trousers that you'd wear in the Disney store, like on Oxford Street or something. And I partnered it with this gorgeous blouse, which is actually the dress from Primark, and this was £13, and I actually love it. It goes down to just mid-thigh, but I decided to wear it as a t-shirt and like tuck it in because I felt like it gave a very poetic but smart casual look. I didn't want to go black and white anything. I wanted to go kind of fancy but not too fancy. And now, the thing I regret the most. So because I completely forgot about the interview, well, I didn't completely forget, but like time had approached so quickly and I kind of just didn't want to think about it that much because I was going to get myself really worked up. I went to Primark maybe the Monday before the Thursday of my interview, and I was in such a rush to just get like the perfect shoes, the perfect outfit. I was still panicking about everything. I hadn't got my headshots. I needed to do a lot. So in a rush, I picked up these gorgeous shoes, which I love. I think they're really pretty. Do you see that? That's a UK size 6. These bad boys are a UK size 8, and it doesn't look that different, but trust me, it was different. I ended up wearing my Doc Martens there and then taking them off to give to my friends when I went into the interview. So please be careful what shoes you pick to wear because you're going to end up with very uncomfortable toes, and that's not good. Moral of the story, comfortable footwear. Now a really cute thing happened, but before I left my flat at 7 AM to go to the interview, I was left with a load of like little notes and messages left on my door by my flatmates, and they had also bought me a little Mrs. Potts like purse from Primark, and it was so cute, and they said, we bought you this one instead of Chip because you're the mom, because I have 2 Americans so they call me mom. which is really cute. Here are a few of my do's and don'ts for the pre-screen interview. Do talk to a few people and engage with your group. So a few head nods and smiles and you're good to go. Don't talk over people because everyone gets a chance to talk and it'll just look bad on you. If they're doing it in a way that it's a free for all and whoever wants to speak first can speak first, maybe put your hand up or suggest, oh, I have something, and then speak. Do not talk over people. Do talk about travel and why you value cultural experience. So obviously my fun fact was I travelled 3 different countries over summer, and I also mentioned how I'd never been to America. So if you've been to America, talk about it. If you've never been to America, talk about it. They're not looking for the biggest Disney fan. And that leads us right on to the don't. Don't talk about Disney too much. They know that you are a big Disney fan just because you applied for this program. If you weren't a big Disney program, you probably would have applied for a different program with them. But you applied for the Disney Cultural Exchange program. So you don't need to mention Disney that much. They're looking for someone who admires culture, they're looking for someone that admires travel and admires where they come from and where they want to go. So don't go boasting about how you've got the biggest pin collection, because it won't bode you well, I promise. Do join the Facebook group before you go, because then when you arrive you'll have some familiar faces to talk to and be like, I know you from the group, right? And then plus you'll know if people are meeting in Starbucks or Costa beforehand. Don't panic. They can smell fear. If they know you're not ready, you're not going to get through. However, if you act comfortable, calm and collected, they're more than likely going to put you through because you're less jittery about it. In my first year I panicked a lot, and I blame that for one of the reasons I didn't get through. And that's it. Good luck if you've got through to the final interview or if you're applying. Commiserations to those who just got kicked out of the little runnings, but don't worry, that was me last year, and trust me, if you can dream it, you can do it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below or go follow me on my social medias and tweet me or Instagram me. I'll also leave a link to my blog down below so you can go follow that. Also let me know if you've got through to the final interviews, and if so, what day. And I'll catch you guys all next time. Bye!